Squid Game Season 2, the long-awaited follow-up to the absolute banger Korean show that took the world by storm and made Netflix execs a fat paycheck. It answers the age-old question that really every one of us has pondered at some point. What happens if you take 500 broke desperate bums and force them to play in a battle royale of deadly children's games, where the lucky winner walks away with $35 million? What? You guys never wondered that before? Just me? Okay. But an otherwise pretty solid season is ruined by an unfathomably hard to ignore, glaringly obvious flaw that stands out like a fat kid at an annual veggie pride festival. Gi-hun's room temperature IQ. You noticed it, I noticed it. This man is constantly making the dumbest decisions throughout the show for no good reason. But something you probably have pondered is, what if Gi-hun over here had more brain cells to rub together than Tony Stark has stacks of cash? Let's get into Squid Game Season 2 if Gi-hun wasn't dumb. The story picks up with Gi-hun right where we left him in Season 1. His terrible anime protagonist haircut.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
He's zooming out of the airport after just condemning his daughter to a lifetime of American conversion therapy. Gi-hun hops in a taxi cab to Seoul and spends the next 2 years holed up in an abandoned hotel trying to find the man who recruited him to play the games. Oh, and he ditches the bad haircut. Now that's all hunky-dory and all, but my only beef with this is, why is bro trying to find the recruiters in the first place? I mean, my man goes through all of this effort, building his base of operations, hiring a gang of thugs to search every subway line in the summers, disregarding every aspect of his social life to find this guy. But if he looked at the method for like more than 5 minutes, he realized that it's just plain ineffective. How does he know that the frontman only sends one guy to do all of the recruiting? Even if they did, it's been 2 years. Who's to say bro hasn't already been fired for terrorizing like 5 homeless people over his daily quota a few months back? Better yet, why search the train stations at all? My guy has legit seen 4K Ultra HD footage of players getting caught lacking by the recruiter in other parts of the city. And given how clumsy and non-discreet his bootleg search party is,
No.
the frontman's masked menaces probably noticed that he was searching the subway lines and told the recruiter to avoid them altogether. Instead, Gi-hun could have used this newfound millionaire status to send fleets of boats searching all surrounding islands nearby. I mean, we know that the Broke Boy Olympics, the Squid Games, are likely to take place on one of them. So anyway, the recruiter ends up finding him and leaves Gi-hun with info on where the frontman, the guy who runs the Squid Games, is. Gi-hun tries to take on the frontman, but when his cooked plan goes south, he decides to fall back on his 200 IQ plan B, which is yeeting himself back into the death games which almost killed his goofy brown bear looking self in the first place. After waking up in the games, Gi-hun should take the time to explain to everyone there the situation. These are death games, and playing means that your life expectancy will drop to that of the average kid's carnival goldfish. Man, those kids are evil. This is the best time to try and convince them because they haven't already been shown the money.
Here we go.
And they're already sus of the pink dudes for knocking them out, taking their stuff, and dumping them in some unknown location. But does Gi-hun actually seize this opportunity? Nah, he just sits there and does nothing.
Bruh.
Instead, he waits until after 50 players have died in red light, green light, and after these greedy goblins have already seen the cash prize, and after 160 people have already voted before he tells them the truth.
I played these games before! I said I played these games before!
So it doesn't exactly take Sister Sage reading the plot, being the smartest person on the planet, to tell you that this doesn't turn out so well. The second games start the next day, forcing the players to split into groups of 5 and go through a racing track. Each player has to complete one of 5 minigames to make it around the pride flag and avoid getting murked. Gi-hun's group has a pretty decent idea of practicing the minigames with rocks and pebbles that they find around them before it's their turn to go. So good job, Gi-hun. You actually had a pretty smart idea. Yippee! But since Gi-hun's #1 goal is to save as many players as possible, bro should be trying to tell every group their strat too. So the games end, and the pink dudes make all their survivors vote again. Alright, bet. At this point I'm thinking it's a pretty good opportunity for Gi-hun to slyly slip his way into small groups of people and convince them to vote for X before the voting actually starts. Surely Gi-hun has learned from his mistake last time and will... Oh. Never mind. Bro just decides to make friendship bracelets with his new crew while they learn each other's names instead.
Bruh.
Couldn't y'all like circle jerk each other later? I mean, you guys don't even know how long you have until the guards come in and start the vote. It's time to start convincing the brokies to go home while we're still up. So after getting clapped in the vote, the pink dudes round them up for the next game. This time they gotta spin around on this carousel thingy until a number is called. Then they have to run to one of 50 or so rooms with the right number of people or, well, you guessed it, they die. Okay, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I don't really know what Mans could have done here. This is the kind of game that guarantees some of them are gonna die, so the best thing Gi-hun could do here is just lock in and try and keep himself alive. And he does that pretty well. So after the entertainment, the players, get back from the game, everyone's already picking sides and getting ready to vote. They waste 0 time separating themselves by X's and O's, and now, finally, after 3 whole games, Gi-hun decides to try and convince players from the O side to vote for home. But it's a little too late for that. Group tension has never been higher, and at this point, Mans will start throwing down if they just catch us at trying to convince people to vote for the opposite side. If only there were a way for me to convince everyone to go home now that the player count is so small. Gi-hun, you do realize that you're a multi-millionaire, right? But alas, it is simply far too dangerous to beg players to go home. Why don't you just offer a large sum of money for the players that vote to go home? Or, at the very least, offer to pay their debts? You're worth 45.6 billion won. If only there were a way to convince these money-hungry savages to stop. Dude, you don't have to win them over. If you just convince a few to take the bribe, we'd be chilling. Will anyone suggest a solution to this terrible situation? Let's just do nothing until the vote starts. You wouldn't want to provoke anyone. Great idea, player 1. Oh, come on! So suffice to say, the vote doesn't end well. With the vote coming down to a 50-50 tie, the players are forced to wait until the next day to re-vote. At night, Gi-hun has yet another Tony Stark IQ plan. To steal the pink soldiers' guns and storm up into the management room, which they don't know the location of, with a bunch of untrained civilians in hopes of killing the frontmen. Yeah.
Not a great plan.
Gi-hun, this is Korea, not Texas. Most of these people don't even know how to fire a rifle, and the pink dudes are trained killers. He manages to convince enough poor sods to join him, and they actually succeed in taking some of the pink soldiers' guns. Now, if Gi-hun was using his head, he wouldn't let this massive opportunity slip. Instead of going on a frivolous quest with a death wish, my guy could have stayed here, rounded up all the biggest yappers from the O group, and held them at gunpoint. Then he could have a few of his buddies beat the snot out of them. I'm talking broken arms, like twisted ankles, black eyes. If Gi-hun did this, he'd essentially guarantee that these people would vote for home tomorrow morning, because why would they dare trying to take a chance at when they can't walk without limping and can't move their right arm? Boom, problem solved. You're welcome. But instead, Gi-hun's group tries to charge the pink dudes with their guns, and well, that goes about as well as you'd expect it to.
No!
And that's Squid Game Season 2. At the end of the day, Gi-hun's dumbest mistake was not taking his prize money and getting lit like a multi-billion won king. Cause if I had that kind of cash, forget all those poor people. You already know I'd be living that good life. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. I've got plenty more content coming your way. Let me know in the comments what shows or movies you'd like me to cover next. Thanks for watching. It means a lot. Have an awesome day.